Hey everybody, how's it going? It's AJ here with Dirt Tracks, and I am going to talk today a little bit about a request I had from one of my other videos. Somebody said, hey, why don't you talk about some ATVs and side-by-sides being purchased that aren't brand new? So I'm going to do that for you today. We're going to go through a little bit online. It's going to be from kind of the Craigslist, Kijiji standpoint. For you Americans, Kijiji is sort of like a blend between Craigslist on steroids and eBay, I guess. I'm not going to look necessarily at stuff from dealerships. It's mainly just going to be from private sellers. Maybe there's a couple on here who are dealers, but for the most part, we're looking for a good deal on stuff and what I can tell you about them to look out for, or why I think vehicles like this are a good deal. So it hopefully can help you when you're referencing online and give you some information in regards to that. So anyways, yeah, I apologize for the kind of basic nature of this video, but I'm doing this from home, so I don't have my all my crew and all the camera guys who know what they're doing. It's just me out here with a phone, so you'll have to just bear with me. Anyways, right up front, first vehicle that I saw, so I went through and I picked about, I don't know, I probably got 15, 20 vehicles here that I thought were all interesting, and I'll just run through them quickly so you guys can get a feel for why I think they're interesting and what I like about them. Up front is an '07 Arctic Cat 700 diesel. This is the TRV. I like this one because I did like this diesel Arctic Cat. Yes, they shook like crazy and they did have some vibration issues, so a bottle of Loctite would go a long ways on one of these things, but they had torque for days and that motor was really, really strong. Not strong in power, strong in torque, but if you're gonna work a vehicle and you're looking for something that you can still go out and trail ride, I actually really enjoyed it. We had one at the office back in '07 and we beat on the thing for a long time and it delivered really good performance. I enjoyed it quite a bit. And I thought it was a good vehicle. So this one's got 2,300K, 6,500 bucks, comes with a plow, worn winch, windshield, and an extra back rack. So I think that's a pretty good deal. Would I pay 6,500 bucks? Probably not. Sorry, for some reason my screen's froze. There we go. I don't think I'd pay 6,500 for it, but I'd probably look at somewhere around the 5 to 5,500 range. You can tell from the pictures that this person has, a pretty nice house and a clean driveway and tidy areas, and the vehicle's really clean, which tells me that they take care of their stuff. It's got newer ITP rims, it looks like, and those, I'm not sure what the tires are on it, but they look like they got a little bit of life left. However, it has been taken care of, you can tell. And so to me, if you're looking for something utility that you can still play with, that's not a bad bet. This one here is an 11 Ranger 800 XP Limited. So I like this because it's a bit of a project buggy. 6,250 bucks, you're going, whoa, what's wrong with it? Well, down here it says that the engine needs a rebuild. So obviously the engine's not working in it, but it does look to me like it's been decently taken care of. It's not beat. The front bush bar and everything isn't all bent in and destroyed. The box sides aren't wrecked. And I like it because the 800cc motor is so easy to find. I mean, you can find them in wreckers. You can find them wherever you want. Looks like it's got a worn winch down there. So for 6,250 bucks needing a motor, well, if you offered the guy $5,000 or 5,500 and you go find yourself an 800 motor with low miles on it, this one has 10,000. If the vehicle's been well taken care of, which I think he said that he replaced bushings and bearings and things like that. So yeah, he did. Plus it's got a heated enclosed cab. The heated enclosed cab is worth half of this vehicle right here for sure. I mean, that's with the hard front, hard back, hard roof, and soft sides, that's at least a $3,000 cab plus the heater. So to me, drop a $1,000 motor in this thing, which you can find all day long, excuse me, and you probably got yourself a Polaris Ranger 800 for somewhere in the neighborhood of 6,000 bucks. So I really like that. That would be a good project vehicle. Up next, I got similar generation to the first Arctic Cat. In fact, it's the same style vehicle. This is a 500, and I like this one because of the price. 4,300 bucks. Doesn't say how many kilometers, but 4,300 bucks for a four-wheel drive ATV with a plow. If you're looking for something to do some plow work around the house, to do yard work, to pull a bush buggy, do that kind of stuff. It's got some light bars on it. The fact that it's got a rear light bar as well tells me that probably this was used strictly for plowing, because who trail rides with a rear light bar? Nobody. I mean, generally nobody. Sorry, I apologize if you do. Anyways, says the price is firm. I don't think I'd buy that for anything more than about 3,500 bucks, but I do think that that's a decent deal. This one, CFMoto 2014 Sniper 800 side by side, 3,370K. So really hasn't been ridden that much. It's in great condition from all the pictures. It's got, they call them soft doors. I mean, that's like a piece of toilet paper on there. I don't even know if I'd call that a soft door. It's got a hard windshield, a hard rear panel, roof, light bar, bush bar, nice rims and tires, winch. It's got all the stuff that you would need. To me, plus, sorry, the other key is that this is the one that came with the Elka suspension. They got away from Elkas, which I wish they never had of. This one has the Elka shocks, and I'm guaranteeing you that the Elka shocks on this are worth 1/3 the price of this vehicle on their own. So they're not Elkas that are, rebranded and made offshore or anything like that. These are the legit real Elkas. So that, to me, at $5,800, I mean, it says no ridiculous offers. I'd offer the guy $5,000 for the thing. And if you could pick that up for $5,000, that's a whole lot of fun for $5,000. There's lots of CFMoto dealers. You can get parts for these things, no problem at all. And they're fun. The little 800 goes pretty good. I mean, there's nothing wrong with this vehicle. So to me, wicked buy. $5,000, get yourself a side-by-side, 2014. It looks pretty good too. Like, that's a nice looking vehicle, and it's got lots of features. So if you're starting off in this, in side-by-sides, or you're going from an ATV and you're looking for a side-by-side, that's not bad in my opinion. Now we're back to the hallmark vehicle, the original RZR, kind of design and style. I know this one's a little updated from the original, but still, 2012 800 RZR. This one only has 750K, and that's why it kind of piqued my interest. Is $8,300 a good deal? Well, it's probably expensive, but if you could pick it up for somewhere around $7,000, I think it would be a pretty awesome deal. It looks like it's in mint shape. With 750K, it's got to be. It's got the upgraded Polaris seats. I think they were PRPs, but I'm not sure if they logoed them at that time. It's got 5-point harnesses, or 4 points at least. 750. Sorry, this one is in miles, so it's got 750 miles, but still super, super low mileage on it. Is in really good shape, looks very clean. The guy says that he put new OEM filter and oil and front and rear diff fluids. I mean, at that, you'd need to change the diff fluid only because it's getting old, but not because it's used. So that, to me, is pretty solid. That would be a good starting point. You can buy tons of used parts, like all kinds of aftermarket parts for those. No problem at all. They're so plentiful, and you can buy aftermarket parts used too. So you could build that thing up and have a lot of fun, and you'd know that you're starting with a really good product because these vehicles were really good. This one was a bit of an anomaly. I was more thinking about the guy who wants to have like a mud running ATV, but maybe you're not going to afford a MudPro or or an XMR or a high lifter. So for $6,000, I think I'd probably, it says or best offer. So I'm thinking if you could buy this thing for $5,000, it's a 2013 850 Sportsman XP EPS LE. So it's got power steering. It's the LE. It's got like all the the nice mud guards and all that stuff. Yeah, it's been hacked up because it's got a snorkel and a rad relocate kit, but it has Rhino axles, Chico Racing steering knuckles, upgraded front diff and 2-inch lift, and it's got 30-inch Maxxis Zilla tires, which they don't look like they're all that beat. To me, I think probably this is a pretty good deal if you're the kind of guy who wants to go out. Sorry, my computer's being like slower than slow. If you're the kind of guy who wants to go out and do some mud running, if you could pick this thing up for $5,000, you're going to have a ton of fun. You're going to be able to keep up and do almost everything that all the guys on the bigger, XMRs and high lifters are going to be able to do. And you just did it for what, 1/3 the price. So 2,500 kilometers on it. That's like 1,500 miles. That's very little running. And it doesn't look terribly abused. I mean, mud running bikes look rough, but I mean, hey, in light bars alone, or light bars and LED lights up front, the guy's probably got $500. It's got a winch on it. To me, I would say, it says it comes with extra oil and brand new belt. There you go, second owner. So to me, that's a pretty good deal if you want a mud running bike. You can pick that up for $5,000. Who knows? Maybe in these times you could buy it for $4,500. But I think that's a lot of fun for $5,000. This one, Kawasaki Brute Force 2006. Sure, it's old. I know it's really old. But if you're looking to get into ATVing, would I pay $49.50? I don't think so. They say lowballers will be laughed at, and it's up to everyone's opinion. Here's the thing. Some people might think that a lowball is $4,000 on that. I don't. I think if I was going to offer somebody something for the vehicle of that year and that vintage, I'd probably offer them $4,000, and if they didn't take it, I'd probably walk. But I think if you could buy that for $4,000, you'd be doing pretty good. It's got 786 original kilometers on it. 650 V twin. It is actually a snappy little buggy. They're fun. They work well. This thing looks absolutely mint. Like, it looks like it's completely factory fresh. And at that kind of mileage, it should be. I mean, there's hardly anything on it, right? Like, it's just, yeah. In the background, some of the things to look for that I always pay attention to when I'm looking at used things. The guy's got a cover on his sled in the background. You know, the floor looks tidy. He's got some paint on the walls. There's shelves put up. Like, you just look for the small things in the background that seem to make sense. He's got a rack for his tracks, you know. That kind of stuff is just, I don't know. To me, it says, hey, I take care of stuff, and this thing, you know, wasn't necessarily abused. But with that kind of mileage on it, I don't think it could be. So to me, I think that would be a pretty good buggy. And if you're into that kind of Japanese reliability, then this is going to be a good one for you. You know, if you really want Kawasaki, Suzuki, Honda, Yamaha type reliability, well, that's a pretty good ATV. If you could pick it up for $4,000, I think you'd be laughing. And now everybody is going to laugh, but I love vintage stuff, okay? I absolutely love vintage ATVs, snowmobiles, cars, motorcycles, whatever it is. And this is a 1988 Big Bear. Okay, so it is four-wheel drive. It's got high and low. It's got electric start. The guy put heated hand and thumb warmers on it. And it looks like it's got pretty mint tires all the way around. So you look at the rims and stuff, like they're either new or they've been, you know, blasted and painted. To me, this would be fun. For $2,500, you're probably not going to give them $2,500 because it says or best offer. So say you pick the thing up for $1,800 to $2,000. It comes with an ownership as well. So you can register this thing and take it out and rip it. I don't know. That to me screams fun. It looks tidy. The plastics don't look completely destroyed. Front bumper's got some dings in it. If you want to get into ATVing for $2,000, that would be, yeah, it's got a, you know, solid rear axle. But if you want to get into ATVing for $2,000, that thing's going to be around until the second coming. So I think that would be a lot of fun for $2,000. Sportsman 850 XP. It's a 2011. This vehicle's got a little bit higher mileage on it, but here's the thing: $5,500. The guy says the price is firm. Serious inquiries only. Well, guess what? The world's all at home right now, and if somebody's willing to spend some money, I bet you could pick this thing up for $5,000. It does have 6,200 kilometers on it, but the 850 is a pretty strong motor, so that doesn't really concern me. And it looks like it's got brand new, absolutely mint ITP rims, and I think those are ITP tires as well. So I right there in tires and rims, you got $1,500 in a heartbeat. They are 14-inch too. 14-inch rims and tires, and 26-inch tires, sorry. That's $1,500. It's got an MBRP exhaust, so there's another probably $300. Says he's got Speedwork clutching on it. With the 26-inch tires, you probably didn't need to clutch that thing, but that's okay, you did. 2,500-pound winch, and the stock parts go with it. So I don't know. I think for $5,000, this bike's got easily, with the winch and all the other stuff in it, let's say $2,500 to $3,000 worth of parts. $3,000 for sure, I guess it would be safe to say. Let's say $2,500 in parts. So at that, you're going to have a nice looking rig. It looks really tidy and clean. You know, people who wash their vehicles, and this guy's definitely armor-alled this thing because all the plastic's shiny and nice. It's not just wet. It's been armor-alled. I like that. Somebody's taking care of it. Yeah, I mean, 6,200 kilometers, so it is kilometers. Let's keep that in mind. So in mileage, you're down around 4,000 or 4,000 miles. To me, if you want to get into ATVing, I think that would be a lot of fun for somewhere in or around $5,000. And you get a cool looking vehicle with some nice tires and rims and upgrades. So that's pretty sweet. This one was an 06 Kodiak 450. Now, of this vintage, you're gonna, you know, at $2,500, you're pretty limited. So when it gets old, if the vehicle gets old and high mileage, I'll be honest, looking for Japanese stuff is probably the right way to go because they do seem to last the longest. Now, this one's got like 10,500 kilometers on it, but it looks tidy. And I just thought $2,500, you're going to offer the guy probably $1,500. Maybe you meet in the middle at $18,000 to $2,000. That's a lot of vehicle. I would rip this 2-up seat off in a heartbeat. But yeah, if you took this thing and you put a little time into spray painting, you know, maybe wire brush or wire wheel the rims, give them a little paint, whether it's silver or black, take that rear rack off, I think you'd have a nice little ATV for, you know, $2,000 or under. I don't know. I think that's pretty decent. It says it's got new tires and a new winch. So to me, that's a lot of bike. And you don't really have to, or a lot of ATV, sorry, I know everybody doesn't like when I say bike, a lot of ATV. And I don't really think there's a whole lot to look for. Key things with ATVs and side-by-sides, grab onto the wheels, give the whole thing a good shake and see whether there's stuff that's slopping around, see whether you can feel play in the bushings, where the A-arms connect to the frame. Give the steering wheel or the handlebars a good wiggle back and forth, and see if that thing's got play in it. Because that then if you got ball joints or the steering frog or whatever it might be that's got issues, you're gonna know right away when you get up close to stuff whether somebody's taking care of it and replace the stuff that needs to be replaced. So that's key. Again, with my vintage thing, honestly, I want to go buy this, and I'm not joking. And you might all laugh at me, but I want to go buy this. This is an '85 Moto 4. It's 2-wheel drive, but the thing I love about this is it's so clean. And I'm almost positive, you guys can correct me whether I'm wrong, but I'm pretty sure this was a generation where if you look at it, it looks a whole lot like a 3-wheeler, and that's because they were, but then they added the front section onto these because 3-wheelers were pretty much dying at the time. So they went in this department or went to this this design and just added on the front end to it. And I just love the fact that it's so vintage and it looks awesome. And it's got like the original owner's manual for it still in the plastic bag. And I think the guy said under here that he's got, pretty sure he said that he's got the ownership for it. Oh, it's got reverse as well. I mean, honestly, you could have some serious fun with this. It's 5-speed plus reverse, electric start, headlights and taillights work. $1,000 or best offer. So you offer the guy $750 for it, and you just got yourself a wicked little beater ATV. And for like your teenage kid, this is great. They can go out, they can have fun. They're going to get stuck eventually because it's solid axle, but they're going to have a blast, and it's not going to take them too far before they do get stuck. It's got racks on it, so I mean, you could genuinely use it around the house for a few things. Honestly, I might call this guy when we're done, because that's like the kind of vehicle that I would have around here. I'd tidy up, clean up, and just keep it for just blasting around the property. That one I love. I love vintage stuff. I know I'm crazy. Okay, 2017. This is a Polaris Ace 150. Oh, you know what? We're going right past that one, because originally when I looked at it, I thought that was something else. I thought it was the medium size, the 400cc Ace. It isn't. Forget that. That was pretty much full price. Okay. I didn't do any sport ATVs except I believe this one, so just bear with me. This is an 05 YFZ 450, and if you want to buy a sweet pure sport ATV, these were great. Honestly, I rode these in Glamis. I rode them. I raced these in a GNCC race. I raced it at Glen Helen. I love this generation. It didn't change all that much through all of its years of changes. I mean, sure, there was small ones, but really you could buy an 05 or you could buy an 09 or you could buy a 20 whenever they stopped making them. And they were all pretty competitive. A lot of the parts that you put on them were very similar. They're good pure sport ATVs. This one, yeah, it looks like it's probably got some miles on it, but it's $2,100, and it doesn't say that it's blown up or anything like that. In fact, it actually says, it says that it's going to need engine work. But for $2,100, you could totally find another engine to swap into this thing at a Wreckers somewhere. And yeah, where else are you going to find a vehicle like this for $2,100? It's, in my mind, if you wanted a project through the winter, something just to do a little bit of work on, yeah, there's all kinds of stuff that you could do. It's got a steering damper on it. Obviously, the seat and some plastics have been pulled off for this picture. Obviously, the guy knows that it needs some motor work, but I mean, you can see some stuff in there. The Alba Racing, riser on it. It's got pro taper bars. Somebody's put some money into this thing, and it does need a good cleanup, but you can find so many parts for this generation YFZ that you could fix that thing up and have it back to, to working, I think, really, really easily, and not with a whole lot of money. And probably for, if it's $2,100, you could buy it for $1,500, and I think you could probably for another $500 to $1,000. So somewhere in the neighborhood of $2,000, $2,500, you could have yourself a sweet pure sport ATV if you want one. 09 Kawasaki Brute Force 750, 2,400 kilometers. That's just that's just a good all-round ATV. Really, there's not anything on it to tell you to like look out for except the obvious stuff. I mean, if you get up close and it's completely destroyed, then that's a different story. But to me, it looked decent. Pipes all rust. That's pretty standard. It does have aftermarket wheels and tires on it, but for the price, and if you want a Japanese, reliable ATV, this would probably be a pretty good buy. And I do like the brute force. The 750 was a strong motor. It's only got 2,400 kilometers on it. That's not very much at all. So $5,500, yeah, it's probably a little bit steep. I think probably $1,000 or no, probably $500 less than that is somewhere in a, maybe 4,800 is a good deal on that thing, but 2,400K isn't that much. And these vehicles really do last. It says it's got new oil and new rear diff fluid. You'd have to pull the dipstick, which you should do all the time, and check that stuff. You should pull the rad cap before the guy starts the thing up and gets it hot. Check all those things, and then obviously let everything that you're looking at, let them run up, let them get really hot, see if anything acts up or if there's any issues or if stuff's boiling over or whatever. But go through all those things, do your due diligence. But for me, this was kind of a nice one. What do we got next? An LT 500. So this is a 4x4 QuadRunner. It's from 1999. It's got supposedly somewhere around 5,500 kilometers on it. And to me, $3,500. It says our best offer. It's got a snowplow. It also comes with a new shelter for it, as well as steel ramps. But if you think about it, if you could buy that, so it's got electric start and says that it works, so the battery's all right on it. It's got a plow. This is kind of like your, maybe if you live, I don't know, you're probably not going to take this thing out and do too much trail riding, but it would be fine, and you could have fun with it. I mean, that Arctic Cat that we built, or that we fixed up just a little while back and took out and beat on, that thing was great. It was a blast. I had tons of fun on that. With this, you're going to get a set of ramps so you can put it in the back of your truck. You got a little shelter for it so you can keep it out of the sun and keep it tidy, and in the wintertime, keep the snow off of it. And you got a plow, so you can work and play with this thing. $3,500. It says our best offer. I'd probably be offering in the neighborhood of about $25,000 to $27,500. If you could pick up a 99 four-wheel drive Suzuki for that, this thing will be around, again, longer than you can imagine. You can pass this off to your kids or your grandkids or whoever you want, because that's going to be around and it's going to last. It's lasted this long and it'll continue to. So to me, I thought that was a decent deal. I know you guys are going to be like, what's up with all this old stuff? 2000 Scrambler 400 two-stroke. I love this because it's a two-stroke. I love this because I rebuilt one, and I love it because I owned one. My dad owned one, but I got to ride it. And these are fun. It's independent it's a solid axle rear end. It's got the McPherson's up front. These were a lot of fun. They are four-wheel drive. Whether the four-wheel drive works on it, you'd have to wait and see. But it does say 4x4. It doesn't say that it wasn't working. It does say the engine was rebuilt, new pistons and rings. Idle's great, but carb needs adjusting. Okay, whatever. That's not a big deal. You can fix that stuff. Those are small things. It looks clean and tidy. It needs a little spray paint up front on the steel. It does have ITP. I think those are mud lights on it. Probably could use a better power wash before he took the pictures, but seat's not torn. Plastics aren't destroyed. Shocks look decent. The struts look decent. I don't know. I think if you could buy that thing, it says asking $1,600. Doesn't mean it's firm. I think if you could buy that for like $1,200, that's a whole lot of fun for $1,200. And you know what? You can still keep up with a lot of people on that thing. If you know how to ride, you can have some fun on that. They sound great too. There's nothing like a two-stroke. So to me, that would be a key. Again, on all these old vintage ATVs and stuff, grab the handlebars. If you're test driving the thing, which you should test drive it just a little bit, when you're grabbing the brakes, feel whether you can feel any slop, down in the A-arms. You'll hear clicking and stuff like that. If when you hit the brakes, if the actual A-arm is moving backwards in the bushing and there's slop in there, you'll hear that kind of stuff. Just check all those things over. Look for rust. Look for boots on half shafts that are ripped. If you got ripped boots, you're going to be replacing the half shaft because there's no way that they'll survive. They just don't. Look for ripped boots on tie rod ends, because those are keys to needing to replace. All that stuff though is good lessons. If you do buy something with that, it's not the end of the world. You can fix that stuff, and you can get a lot of it too. I mean, All Balls sells pretty much everything for every generation of ATV and side by side that you can ever imagine. So you can fix that stuff. This is an '07 Kodiak 450, and I like this one because it's the independent Kodiak 450. So this was one of the first generations, I believe, of the independent Kodiak. The 450 motor will last forever. We know the local police folks who were using these exact vehicles. I don't know how many K they put on them, but I'm pretty sure it was over 20,000 kilometers, and they didn't get rebuilds. So those motors went that long. This has got 2,793 K. It's got nothing on it. It's an '07, 4,500 bucks. Yes, it might be a little bit steep, but I don't really think that it's too out of the range. It does come with a plow, so obviously it's got a winch. It is independent, and you can see from the background, it's on a clean, tidy garage floor. It's cleaned. It looks like it's been armor-alled. Like the rear diff and the half shafts and the shocks aren't all caked in with stuff in here, which you're used to seeing. Like usually these are all jam-packed full, and some of the pictures that you'll see are up underneath the fenders. It's all dirty and coated with stuff. This looks like it hasn't been used all that hard. It's got a plow, so you can do some work with it in the wintertime. I'm a big fan of not hooking your hook up here. If you're gonna put some electrical tape over it, because look at what it's done to the rack. But here's the thing. That's the kind of stuff you can beat somebody up a little bit on price when you see them. And this comes off with like 6 bolts, and you can respray that. Just give it a little wire wheel, respray it, and it'll look like $1 million. So I think this is actually a pretty good little setup. And if you could buy the thing for even $4,000, that's a lot of ATV, and it will last forever. They're a great ATV. The Kodiak 450 with independent, they ride pretty good. They're a little bit smaller than most full-size ATVs you'll see now. But a great, long-lasting, durable, really, really reliable piece of equipment. That one would last you a long time. I had to put a Honda in here. I know you guys were waiting for some more. It's really hard to find Hondas used, truthfully, that are either not overpriced or not just a complete, total disaster. The ones that are decent and look decent, people are asking a lot of money for. And this is an '01. This is a Rubicon 500 4x4, 1,300 original kilometers. Like that's what do people do with these things? It must be, and I mean this respectfully, but it must be old timers who just have these sitting around. Obviously it's missing the footwell piece here. You can still get those. It's missing it on both sides. Not really a big deal. Those can be had. But solid axle, yes. Rear drum brake, yes. But it's a rear seal drive line, so it's shaft drive to the rear, which is kind of nice. It runs obviously inside the rear solid axle, as all rear solid axles do, but it's a sealed drive line, so you don't have your half shaft boots to worry about. You don't have any of that stuff going on. This to me would be a really good workhorse. It's got a winch on it. They're asking $3,000, but as we know, the guy says not sure where I put the footwells, but I do have the other plastics. So the guy might actually have the footwells for the thing, and it does have an ownership. I think it says runs good but won't move. Guessing something needs to be adjusted. It's probably the rear drum brake that's seized up on it, and that would be if it runs, then and it runs good, which means in neutral it runs just fine. I'm guessing there's something really goofy wrong with it, and it could be fixed for next to nothing. It probably time and a little bit of fluid film. So that one, if you could buy that thing for like $2,200 to $2,500, that's that thing's going to be around forever, and it'll work hard for you, and it's still fun, and it's 4-wheel drive, so you can still get out and actually do some stuff with it. But as a workhorse, great vehicle. This one I thought might have been a little bit interesting, but I'm seeing now, I didn't click in too close on the pictures. Man, that front bumper's bad, isn't it? And somebody put a camo paint job on it. My brother-in-law's got one of these, an original 660. Oh, sorry, he's got an original 660 Rhino. This is the 450 one. $5,000. Okay, so I think it's too much with 6,200K on it. Let's just skip over that one because I think probably that, based on what we've looked at earlier, actually, you know what? Maybe it's not. It's got ITPs on it with some kind of another, what is that? Is that a Mudzilla? I think it is a Mudzilla. It looks like it's probably been ridden hard and put away wet, but I don't know. It's got a winch. Yeah, it says he's fixed most everything you can find wrong with it, including a new top end, an engine kit, piston rings, valves, etc. So if you could pick this thing up for a little bit less than what it's saying, maybe it says it's firm, but if you could buy that for $4,000 or $4,500, I think that'd actually be, they are pretty reliable. They're not bad, and you can find lots of parts for them. So, hey, sorry about that, everybody. I just, my phone lost all of its storage there, so had to delete a few things. I'm back. Two more to show you. Second to last is a 2012 550 XP, and this is a Sportsman, but it's a Browning edition. So I put this in there for the guys who are hunters, just because I think that this was definitely a worthwhile ATV. $6,500 is a little pricey for a 12, but it's only got 1,400 kilometers on it, and it looks like it's in pretty good condition. One of the things I like, though, is if you are a hunter and you want that camo, it does have the camo rims on it as well. It's got the camo bodywork, but then it comes with the OGO rear bag system, and that storage bag it's worth like a few $100s. It's a nice storage bag, works really good, great for hunting gear, very versatile. You can use it just for regular riding as well, but it fits on the rear, and this does have the rear rack extender on it, so that's a nice little feature as well. Has a gun scabbard, comes with a Kimpex plow. To me, if you could get this thing for somewhere in the neighborhood of $5 grand, $5,500 maybe, I think that would be a great buy. It is a 550, so it's a little bit less power than the 850, but nothing wrong with it. It's a great ATV, really fun. I believe the Browning edition did come with EPS on it, so I think it has power steering. But at 1,400 kilometers, it's like brand new. So there's really nothing wrong with that. I would pick that as a hunter's ATV in a heartbeat, and I think that's a really good buy. Not much to look for there besides, the obvious stuff that I've already talked about. And last but not least, I did put a MudPro on here. This is a 12 MudPro, 700 power steering. They've got great graphics on these ones. They're a little aggressive, but it is pretty, they're pretty cool looking. It's kind of like the Tony Stewart colors on it. It's got 3,000 miles on it. Not really all that much mileage, but if you want something to go slay some mud with, I think this is a good option for sure. $49.99. It says, that $5 grand takes it cash. Maybe you can pick the thing up for $500 less, but $4,500 to $5 grand for a real mud running ATV like this, I don't know. I think that's a lot of fun for that kind of money. 3,000 miles isn't really bad. And yeah, mud ATVs, they're kind of few and far between. And if they look nice and look like they're in decent shape, well, that's pretty key. Sure, it probably could have used a power wash beforehand a little bit more, but it's a nice looking bike. And I think for that kind of money, you could have a lot of fun. And definitely you're getting a vehicle that's a little newer too with a 2012. So that's of interest to me. Anyways, I hope that you guys enjoyed this and enjoyed the kind of scroll through all the different vehicles here and some of the key things, some of the stuff that I would look for, some of the stuff that I like. Obviously, there's a couple on here. Where's that one that that right there, the Moto 4. Yes, that's where it's at. So I don't know. I hope you guys enjoyed that, and don't be afraid to go out and kick some tires and look at some stuff and even look at things that are a little bit older. I love older things, and there's been lots of projects over the years personally behind the scenes that nobody's ever seen. Some of the stuff that I've done, building stuff up and fixing things where you buy it, fix it up, and before you even know it, somebody's in your garage going, "Oh man, I'd love an ATV like that." And "Oh really? Well, do you want it for this?" And you end up selling the thing, making $1,000 or $1,500. Take that money, throw it all back into the next one, and just keep working your way up a little bit. You don't have to go out and buy or finance right away a brand new vehicle. Go look for some stuff that's a little bit older, a little bit more used, and something that you can work your way into a newer vehicle through the time. Or if you just don't need that brand new ATV or brand new side-by-side, there's all kinds of older stuff out there that will last forever and do a great job, and you can have just as much fun on. So don't be shy. And when you're on this, whether you're listing or buying, be willing to take a little bit less than what you list something for, because I think buyers should be, unless they put firm down on the thing, you should be able to offer somebody 15 to 20% less than what they're asking and not have them be too upset about that. So I think that's totally reasonable. Occasionally, if you see something really big that's wrong, offer them a bit less. But yeah, hope you guys enjoyed this, and I'll get this, or this is going to be online by the time you see this, so why am I even saying that? Anyways, it'll be online right away, and I hope you guys enjoyed. If you got any other ideas for stuff that I can talk about, or specifics, if you got like a specific ATV or side-by-side that you're wanting to look at, let me know, and maybe I can do another thing like this where we have a look at stuff and kind of talk through it. So anyways, hope everybody's staying safe, staying healthy, and we'll see you soon.